Here are 4 tips to help you quit doomscrolling. Doomscrolling is a normal response to experiencing uncertain times. It is natural to want to understand the dramatic events around us, and it is natural to seek information when we are afraid. But dwelling on bad news for too long can be harmful. Newly published research finds that people with higher levels of consumption of problematic news are also more likely to have poorer mental and physical health. So, what can be done about it? We spoke with an Australian from Victoria about their experience with the prolonged lockdown and how they stopped doomscrolling. Here are some tips to help you do the same. Doomscrolling describes what happens when someone continues to consume negative news and information online, including on social media. This kind of overconsumption of bad news can have negative effects. Evidence is growing. Research suggests that doomscrolling is useless and even harmful in times of crisis. During the COVID in the early days, people were overwhelmed when consuming many messages. The study found that people who read more news about the pandemic were also more concerned about it. 9/11 and the Boston Marathon bombings also found that prolonged exposure to disaster news was associated with negative mental health effects. When the COVID reached its peak, many were calling doomscrolling. Lots of bad news and more free time for many. Several studies, including our own, have found that limiting news exposure helps people cope. Melbourne, the capital of Victoria, has the world's longest. We are experiencing an ongoing lockdown. To find out how Victorians controlled their news consumption during this period, we conducted surveys and interviews with those who limited their news. I noticed that many people increased their consumption of news when the lockdown started. However, most of our participants found that the doomscroll made them feel anxious, angry, and distracted from their daily tasks, so they gradually adopted a strategy of suppressing the doomscroll. Our research has found these message reduction strategies to be very useful. People said they felt less stressed and more connected with others. Here are some of their strategies you might want to try. Set a fixed time to check your messages. Instead of checking the news regularly throughout the day, set a time, and think about which times of the day have the most positive impact on you. One of the participants checked her messages while waiting for her morning tea to brew. Other participants preferred to set aside news engagement for later in the day so that they could start the morning relaxed and focused. Avoid pushing news. Unexpected news can lead you into a vortex of ruin. Some participants achieved this by not tricking the messages and instead allowing them to participate on their own terms. For examples, did not follow news-related social media accounts or disabled push notifications for news or social media apps. Add friction to break habits. If you find yourself consuming news in thoughtless or habitual ways, making news less accessible may give you a chance to stop and think. One participant moved all her social media and messaging apps to a hidden folder on the last page of her smartphone's home screen. She says that this strategy has helped reduce the number of scrolls of fate significantly. Other participants deleted browser bookmarks that provided links to news sites, removed news and social media apps from their mobile phones, and stopped bringing mobile phones into their bedrooms at night. Talk to other family members. Please let other family members know so they can support you as you try to better control your news consumption or talking. I found it difficult to limit my consumption. In the best cases, discussions helped people reach common agreements, even when one person comforted the news and another offended them. One watched the daytime news and the other agreed to go for a walk, but watched the evening news together. Staying up to date is still important. Importantly, none of these practices involve avoiding messages entirely. Especially important in a crisis situation, when you need to know how to protect yourself. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel for more healthy videos that you love.